Hey guys, this is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching and ToughTrader.com. Going to try and do a quick 5-minute video. We'll see if we can hold me to that on what a breakout looks like. And I'm going to use CL and I'm going to use this from a volume profile standpoint. So I use volume profile in my own way. I don't claim to be a volume profile expert, but I do have a way of using it that's quite effective for me in identifying where markets can move to and and how they're going to move. So I've circled in on the last couple of days. So volume profile, what it does is simply shows price by volume by price instead of volume by time. Okay, and what this lets you know is where the most transactions are occurring, right? So there's ways to use volume profile both intraday, and then there's ways to use volume profile to find support resistance, and then there's a way just to kind of get a better understanding of what the market's trying to accomplish. So before we broke out, you'll see that we had started a general uptrend, right? We were making a series of higher highs and higher lows on CL. And before I get started, just quick disclaimer: past performance is not indicative of future results. Here, y'all can read this real quick. You can pause it if you'd like to see it. This is for educational purposes only. I'm sharing what my trade plan is in hopes that it'll make you a better trader. Use my 20 years of experience to help you improve. The number one things that cause traders to lose money: overtrading, massive boom bust cycles where they can't figure out that the process or the way the market is trading has changed and they can't adopt quick enough, and then the inability to simply walk away from your computer when you're having a bad day is what causes traders to draw down. It can be fixed, right? Do not allow yourself to blow up. So what I want to point out here, going back, is that we consolidated, right? And then you can see the range was pretty wide through here, right? And then just like in everything else over the last 2 weeks, we traded absolutely sideways and in a very tight range. Most people want to look at the market and go, well, the market's been in a tight range. There's nothing to trade here, right? I would beg to differ in a significant way, right? When the market narrows like this, what it's telling you is imagine, so I want you to imagine a turbine, a pump, right, that is pumping energy, pumping a product, energy in this case, into a very tight vessel, right? And it's going to pump and pump and pump more energy in until finally, right, after it builds, it's going to explode upwards, right? So you'll notice there's some qualities just looking at this volume profile. The first thing you're going to start to notice is when we begin, we start this process off with a B-shaped profile right here. I'm going to highlight this with my drawing tools. Okay, so on this day we start off with a B-shaped profile. And the first thing that tells me is I have to get underneath that profile in order to move lower and test support areas that are below. The second thing is, if you'll notice, we had a really large volume build prior to breakout over here to the left, right? So what we've done is we've gotten over the volume build to the left. This means that price was agreed upon. We had a lot of contracts traded hand in this area. Price was agreed upon. We opened up. You'll notice when we opened up, right, this is the open, this is the close. So we, again, built a lot of volume discussing this area, and then the market broke out. What this is telling you is we came back several times to test that area, but when we tested on very light volume. There was no need from a auction standpoint to there was no need to renegotiate this area again because we've already fought it out very well. We've shown that we could push above, and now we've come back to test. Now, this is the part where it gets interesting. Notice that you can just draw a trend line underneath where the volume builds are, starting here, right? And we slowly, where all the volume builds, we trend up. See how each day we built the best chunk of volume to the upside, and then on the downside, right, you can see that we really couldn't build much volume. Excuse me, let me draw it from here. Right, so notice when we started this process, most of the volume built underneath here, and then it shifted up, value shifted up, and we started to build value here, right? So notice the point at which we're doing the majority of the transactions and the majority of the green on price, we are all agreeing here that value for oil is shifting up, yet we have not agreed to expand range. And what happens here is so much pressure built in here that we exploded, right? We exploded to the upside, and then this is what you get over the next couple of days. And now everyone will look at today and go, my gosh, it must be so bearish. We blew off, right? But it really isn't quite as bearish as it looks. Why? We have this huge volume build, and this is going to end up acting as support if we push back in. So now, to keep the video short, what did this end up looking like in real time? I can show you. Actually, I want to do this. Right click, copy window, paste window. And we'll wait for TradeStation to bring this up. There we go. We're going to get rid of these volume profile, format, analysis techniques, remove, close, insert, indicator. So here's volume by price, volume by time, excuse me. Okay. Candlesticks. And then let's make these 15-minute bars just for the sake of conversation, right? So here's what that ends up looking like. So these are the same trend lines, right? You can see how all the volume was done below before. We are obviously trending up, but now when we get over here, we shift from all the volume being built back here, right? And you can visually see we're just getting narrower and narrower each day. All the volume finally on these 2 days, the majority of the volume is done in this upper part. You can see all the time that was spent here. And then the other part that you can see, okay, so this was the last big volume push here, failed. Now look at the explosion when this is where that volume was done, right? And so you can see the first time we tried to break out over that volume, we failed. Here's the second time, and you can see actually the lift was done on increased volume, and here's the explosion in volume to the upside, right? We go through another consolidation phase, and then finally today we bust up. I got to tell you, this is still not bearish, right? Still looks fine to me. We are probably just in need of coming back in and doing some backing and filling. My guess is when we get into this 50-60, 50-20 area, you're going to find responsive buyers because there was a ton of volume that was built up, and this will get defended. So that is how I convert a volume profile chart from a bigger picture perspective to a larger picture perspective. It's important that you be able to do that as a trader so you can understand what the market's trying to do. If you look, ES and NQ are in a similar pattern right now. Anyways, my name is Simon. I'm with toughtrader.com and Trade and Perform Coaching. If you need some help with your trading, you want to avoid boom bust trading and learn how to be disciplined in your approach, please contact me, tradeandperform@gmail.com. You can either have a 5-day pass into the room, or if you need a mentor or one-on-one coaching, we can discuss that as well. Anyways, hope you have a wonderful day. Have a good night, guys. Talk to y'all soon.